If you clicked on this video, chances are that you're a student who knows they should be studying but is instead procrastinating and scrolling on YouTube, which is what led you here. But that all ends right now, because my promise to you is that by the end of this video, you will have studied. And if you truly care about your academic performance and getting your dream grades, you will do yourself a service and watch until the end of this video. So for those of you who are still here and truly want to do your best at studying, pay close attention because your studying begins now. In just a few moments, I'm going to give you 20 seconds to get two main things. The first thing is your textbook or whatever material you need to study, and then the second thing is going to be some way to take notes like a notebook or a laptop. So get off your butt and get those things right now. Alright, 20 seconds are up. So now that you're back, here's the structure that we're going to use. We're going to be using a combination of active recall techniques that will help you to remember the information right now and will also help you to review the information later in the most efficient way possible. So we're going to be breaking this up into 2 study cycles, with each cycle having 3 minutes of reading, 1 minute of textbook recall consolidation, and then 3 minutes of revision, and then critically taking those key points and converting them into flashcards, which I'll get into a little bit later. So right now, I want you to open up your textbook to whatever chapter you need to review, and then find the sections that you think will be the most important to the test. So if you're not sure what sections are going to be the most important, try your best to find a section that has a lot of definitions and key terms in it, as this will likely be the most relevant to the test. So pause the video if you really need to find a good section, but for everyone else, and me too included, because I'm going to be studying with you guys, your 3 minutes of reading starts in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so our 3 minutes for textbook reading are up. Now for the next minute, I want you to quickly jot down some bullet points about the most important things that you just read. So this can be something like an important definition or an important topic that you are reading about, but try your best not to look at the textbook because our revision is going to continue on in our next step. So if you're ready, writing down the key points that you just read starts now with 1 minute. Alright, so our 1 minute for the textbook reading consolidation is up. So now we get to the revision phase. So we're going to open up our textbook to whatever section that we were just reading, and then we're going to take 1 minute to then look at our notes and then compare it to the textbook. So below the notes that you were just taking, I want you to make a section to jot down any key topics or definitions that you might have missed during your textbook recall, as these will be the most important points to remember for our flashcards, and this will also let you know about the certain things that your mind just isn't as good at remembering, so this will help you to focus on those important topics later on. So if you're ready, our 1 minute for notebook comparison to the textbook begins right now. Alright, so our 1 minute is over. So beautiful. Now we get to the last part of our cycle, which, as I mentioned before, is our flashcard phase. So if you don't have some flashcards or Quizlet near you, that's totally okay. But one thing that you will need to do is to take the key points that you just wrote down in your notes, and then I want you to write that down in the form of a test question for your flashcards. So for example, one of the things that I wrote down was that fraud is when you make another person rely on and act on a misrepresentation. So easy enough. What I would write down in my notebook for my flashcard would be the question, explain what fraud is, and then I would write down the answer onto my notes to then put on a flashcard or a Quizlet later as if it were a test question. So now that we're here, our 2 minutes for our flashcard creation begins right now. All right, so our 2 minutes for this cycle have ended. Great job, guys. We are doing great work right now. You are doing amazing right now. Good job on staying focused during that cycle. We just have one more cycle to get through now, so do your best and hang in there. So for our second cycle, we're going to start back from the top. So open your textbook back up to whatever pages that you were reading or the sections that you think are going to be the most important, and then find a good section that you're going to be reading for our 3-minute phase. All right, so I found my section. So our 3 minutes for our textbook reading phase begins right now. All right, so our 3 minutes for textbook reading is up. And so as you might recall, now we got onto the textbook recall phase. So just write down the bullet points of the main key topics that you remember from your reading and do your best to not look at the textbook if you can. We're gonna put 1 minute on the clock for that, so your textbook recall begins right now. All right, so our time for the textbook recall phase has just ended. So as you might recall, now we got into the revision phase. So open your textbook back up, and we're going to try and compare the notes that we took in our notebooks to the things that we missed in the textbook, and then write down the key things and topics that you might have missed so that you can remember them for later and for our flashcards that we're gonna make. So our minute for that starts right now. All right, so our 1 minute is up. Now we get to the final part of our cycle. It is the flashcard phase. So as I said before, the key concepts that you just wrote down, I want you to write them down in the form of a question onto your notebook and write a corresponding answer to that question that then you can then put onto a flashcard or a Quizlet later on so that you can use active recall to remember the information much better in the future. So create that in the form as if it were a test question. Do your best to get this through. We're almost there. Your final 2 minutes for this cycle and for the video starts right now. All right, so our final flashcard minutes have just ended. So awesome work, guys. If you stayed honest and watched the video the whole way through, you've just completely finished your studying for this video. So great job on that. I know that the video probably felt a little bit fast-paced, but as I promised before, you just studied for like a whole 14 minutes, which is a pretty good chunk of time. So that's really awesome. And if you keep improving your focus for these kinds of study sessions, then you will be able to drastically improve your study focus in the future. So great job. So feel free to repeat this video as many times as you like if you want to create a longer full study session for yourself, or you can just use this video to, get the motivation to study whenever you need it. But that's it for this one. If you guys got lots of value from this video, I would really appreciate it if you subscribed. And let me know if you'd like to see these kind of study focused videos in the future, because I know this is definitely a new kind of video that I haven't really made on the channel before. So if you do enjoy it, I'll see if I can make some more videos like these in the future for you guys. But that's it for now. Go out and keep studying and reviewing and get those straight A's, and I will see you in the next one.